Hi everybody, welcome back to the Creativity Cave. I have two adorable projects to show you today and how I used the new Bouquet Die to make these flowers. So let me show you how I did it. We're going to start with the smile card first. I'll set that off to the side a little bit here. And what I did is I took my Bouquet die and I die cut 8 of these flower petals that you can see here, and I'm going to adhere them to a little circle to start with. And actually I'm going to move these because I'm going to use my hot glue gun here, and this is Stampin' Up's silicone pad. It works great because glue can stick to this and it will just release real easy, and it's a very inexpensive surface to work on with your glue gun. Now, one more thing about my glue gun. I have an old glue gun. I've had this for years, but it is a dual temperature. There's a high temperature and a low temperature. And you do use high for certain things and low for others. So low is great because when you burn yourself with it, as you know you're going to inevitably, it does hurt a little less. So that's a nice thing to have going for you. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these on opposing sides, and I'm going to put them about the same distance in on the circle, like so. And you do need to move, not like speed of light quick, but a little quick, so you can get it on before your glue sets up. Then I'll just put a little blob on the in-betweens. This is the best way to get a nice even round flower. If your petals are not, going in the same distance, then your flower will look a little funny. Now, if I pushed the flowers in a little further on that circle, then I would get a smaller flower resulting. Okay, so now I've got that part done, and you can see on my flower I have this fun orange center. So the first part of that is this little stamen type die, and again this is all on the Bouquet die from the Occasions catalog. I'm going to put some glue in the center here, stick this right in like so. Then I also have this other business. Now that is done with a piece of Tangerine Tango cardstock. It is about 11 inches by about a ½ inch wide. And then I went ahead and used our fringe scissors to cut. And I'll just finish this up a little bit here. Whenever you're doing this, you don't want to cut all the way through to the end. You want to leave, a good 1/8 inch or so that's not cut. You also don't want to close the scissors, like this, if I were to just close it, because usually what happens is it'll just rip right off. Okay, so I finished that up. Now I'm going to take my bone folder and I'm going to carefully curl this strip, and what that does is it just naturally makes it want to curl up on itself, because then I'm going to take any kind of tool that has a real tapered end to it, and I'm going to start rolling my strip on itself, and this gives you a nice tight roll that gets started. You can see once you kind of get going, it will just hold itself. You roll that all the way up, put a little glue on the end. I use Fast Fuse to tack down the end. And here's what I've got left. Now you can see mine is splayed a little bit, so what I'm going to do is just kind of push these back, and then that makes this look a lot fuller and of course prettier. Then last but not least, I'll put some hot glue on the bottom of that and stick it to the center of my flower. And how adorable is this? Okay, now to finish up the card, I want to do a couple things. First, I want to curl the petals. You can do this beforehand as well, and your bone folder is so good for that kind of technique. Sometimes I use my fingers, but the bone folder sure helps. Okay, then to create my card, I just have half a sheet of cardstock folded here, and I've got 3 sheets of aqua shaded cardstock. So I'll start with the first. You know, I put my fast foods down here. Then I'll put my pool party piece, my coastal cabana piece, and finally I'll finish up with my Bermuda Bay piece. These each are 3 3/4 inches wide by 1 5/8 inch tall. And then to finish this off, I'm going to use the Smile from a stamp set called So You. Sorry, I had to go look because I couldn't remember. I knew it was something simple. So You is in the Occasions catalog as well. Isn't that cute? And then the last thing I will do is put a dab of hot glue on the back. You could use regular glue too. And just stick that down. Now if you compare my two cards, notice this flower that I just made is a little bigger, and that's because I had the petals out a little bit along the circle piece for my base, and then on this one I had them tighter in. So that gives you can see how you can change the size of the flower. Now let me show you the next card. I won't do the whole thing. If you recall, that's this one, but I wanted to show you how I did the petals here because it's kind of neat. So again, I had 8 petals. I'm going to take my Something Lacy background stamp and ink that up in Pool Party ink, and then stamp each of my petals. And I have a little trick for this because those of you who know me know that I am an incredibly lazy stamper. So I like to do things as easy as possible. So here's my inked up stamp, and I'm going to take and put all the petals down on the rubber. This makes it so that I only have to ink it up once. Set all these down. And then I have a little tool that I use. It's actually the block for my stamp. Again, I'm lazy, so I didn't even stick the rubber stamp on my block. I just left it plain. But I'm going to use that block instead to press down on the petals so each one gets inked evenly, because that is the trick with these background stamps. Okay, so I'll lift that off. Don't forget you've left a bunch of ink on here, so wash that off before you use it again. And then you can see all of my petals are inked. And then I'll go about the same process. I'll start with a circle base. Again, this is a 1 1/4 inch punch, but you can use any size circle. And then just start gluing them offset from one another. Now look, if I started like this and had them pretty close to each other, I would get that smaller sized flower. And there you have it. So this is the finished card. I added some chevron embossing and some ribbon. This is the burlap ribbon with some of the Sale-a-bration Best Year Ever accessory pack and coordinating button on there. And then of course the center is in black from the Big's Bouquet Die. So I hope you enjoyed this project. I have another video on my blog that was posted January 21st, 2015, that shows some other projects using the same die, and I have a whole bunch of samples on my blog post as well. So check me out at the Creativity Cave, and as always, there's a product list on my post, and you are all you have to do is click on the products to place an order for that or anything else with me, and we sure appreciate your business and hope you have an awesome day. Thanks!